A cold goodbye, a sudden betrayal, and then silence until now. Welcome to Her Silent Revenge, stories that stay with you.
Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today, I've got a story that's deeply personal, and I'm sharing it in hopes that it resonates with some of you out there. So, here goes. I'm Alex Johnson, and I found myself in a situation I never imagined. Picture this. I'm 34, standing outside a grand party for my mum's 60th birthday, and I'm not on the guest list. I was utterly stunned. My dad, standing at the entrance, looked at me as if I were a stranger attempting to sneak into an exclusive event. My heart sank as I clutched the gift I had brought, while my sister Jenna gave me a sarcastic smile from the doorway. Before I dive into what happened, let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you've ever felt left out by those who should care the most, hit that like button. Growing up in a suburban neighborhood outside of Chicago as the middle child was challenging. My older sister Jenna was the family star, always in the spotlight for her academic achievements, and my younger brother, Ethan, was the adored baby. Our family albums tell the tale, Jenna with her trophies, Ethan being doted on, and me, just there, often on the edge of the picture. But my mum, she was different. Or at least, she used to be. I remember when I was 7 and crushed about not being invited to a birthday party. My dad brushed it off with, "Not everyone gets invited to everything." But my mum, she sat with me, and we crafted party hats together, creating our own little celebration. "You're special in your own way, Alex," she whispered. Those words anchored me for years. At 12, I won 3rd place in a science fair with my solar system project. It wasn't first like Jenna usually got, but my mum proudly framed my certificate alongside Jenna's accolades. "It's about doing your best," she said, reinforcing a lesson I'd carry forward. That certificate eventually disappeared from the wall, thanks to my dad. But my mum secretly kept it in her bedside table. On my 16th birthday, when my friends ditched me for a more popular party, my mum took me on a special trip to the city to see a musical I'd been dying to see. We dressed up, dined at a fancy restaurant, and for that night, I felt like the most cherished person in the world. Sometimes it's quality, not quantity, that matters, she reassured me. These were the moments that convinced me I wasn't invisible. But things shifted when I chose to attend Boston University, miles away from home. Unlike Jenna, who stayed nearby, I wanted to explore. My dad never understood. "Why so far? Alex, aren't we good enough?" he'd say. That physical distance soon became emotional. Post-college, I thrived in the tech world, climbing the ladder at a fast pace. Meanwhile, Jenna joined the family insurance business, and Ethan bounced between jobs. By 34, I was the director of operations at a major tech firm, managing over 200 people. My achievements were met with mixed feelings at home. Dad never missed a chance to question my choices. "Still at that computer company?" he'd ask, ignoring the gift baskets I sent every Christmas. Then there was Jenna. During a Thanksgiving dinner, after a few too many glasses of wine, she confronted me in the kitchen. "You think you're special with your fancy life in Boston?" she spat, slicing into the pie with unnecessary vigour. "You have no idea what it's like dealing with Mom and Dad every day while you send occasional gifts." I tried to defend myself. I called regularly, invited them to visit. But she wasn't having it. "Everything's a competition with you," Alex, that accusation stung. Growing up, I'd watched her collect trophies while I clapped from the sidelines. "That's not fair," I whispered, trying to keep the peace. She retorted, "Mum doesn't even understand what you do." "At least I'm here being a real daughter." Her words cut deep. After that Thanksgiving, my mum's calls dwindled, becoming more infrequent. When we did speak, she seemed distant. The warmth that once filled our conversations was missing. Ethan, who used to be my partner in crime, followed Jenna's lead. My texts to him turned into one-word replies. When I visited, he barely looked up from his phone. My dad's disapproval was a constant. "Your mother worries," he'd say. "It's not natural for a woman your age to be alone." I tried to explain that I wasn't alone. I had built a life with friends and colleagues. But to them, my success didn't fit their definition of a fulfilled life. Mum's growing distance hurt the most. The same woman who once drove hours to make me feel special now couldn't find 5 minutes for a call without Jenna lurking in the background. "Jenna says you're too busy," Mum mentioned once. It didn't matter what I said. My role as the daughter who left was cemented. Last Thanksgiving was the tipping point. Another jab from Jenna about my empty life, and I finally lost it. "I built my life from scratch," I said, setting my fork down. "I didn't just slide into Dad's business." Silence enveloped the table. Mum looked hurt, and Dad's face turned crimson. "Maybe you should leave," Jenna whispered triumphantly. So, I did. I packed my things and flew back to Boston that night. No apologies came. No one reached out until I stumbled upon a Facebook post about Mum's 60th birthday party 3 months later. Scrolling through Facebook late one night at the office, I discovered the event. Jenna had organised the bash with a flashy banner reading, "Celebrating 60 years of love for Linda Johnson." The guest list was extensive, featuring relatives and friends I hadn't seen in years, but my name was glaringly absent. I sat there, under the harsh office lights, stunned. I was still at work, long past midnight, surrounded by vacuuming staff, a dedication that my family criticised, but also what earned me respect in my field. My assistant, Sarah, popped her head in. "You're still here?" Security was worried. I quickly closed Facebook, trying to act casual. "Just wrapping up." Sarah wasn't convinced. "Normal folks don't work this late on Fridays." I attempted a smile, but it felt hollow. Once alone, I reopened Facebook, delving into family photos, Mum's birthday last year, which I missed because of a work emergency, Ethan's job promotion celebration, my parents' anniversary, all events where my absence was palpable. I finally called my mum. It was late, but I knew she'd be awake. "Alex," she answered, surprised. "Is everything okay?" It was sad that emergency was the first assumption. "I'm fine. Mum, I just saw the birthday party on Facebook." There was a pause. "Oh, that," she said softly. "I didn't get an invite," I confessed, my voice small. "I thought," she hesitated. "Jenna said you were busy. That big project." I cut in. "Mum, it's your 60th birthday. Of course. I'd be there." Her voice softened. "It would be lovely to see you." After the call, I booked a first-class ticket to Chicago, a $2,100 expense I couldn't truly afford, but felt necessary. The next morning, I told Sarah at work, "I need Friday off next week. Family stuff." She was shocked. "You?" taking time for family. I just asked her to reschedule my meetings. I meticulously planned the trip. I spent hours picking out the perfect gift, a vintage emerald brooch that reminded me of one my mum adored, and a spa package. The total was nearly $3,000, but I wanted to show her I still knew what would make her happy. I agonized over what to wear, choosing a sapphire dress, elegant enough to show success, but not too flashy. The night before my flight, I practiced conversations in my mirror, rehearsing apologies and small talk like it was the most important presentation of my life. The morning of my flight, Jenna texted, "Heard you're coming. Just don't make it about you." Her words haunted me all the way to the airport. I finally replied, "Looking forward to celebrating Mom," and left it at that. On the flight, I alternated between anxiety and hope, flipping through work documents without absorbing a word. My therapist's advice echoed in my mind, "You're returning as an adult, not the child you were." I opted to stay at a hotel downtown rather than my parents' house. I needed a neutral space, somewhere to retreat if things went south. That evening, I ordered room service and laid out my outfit for the party. Each piece was chosen to convey the right message: successful but not boastful, professional yet feminine, independent yet still their daughter. As I got ready the next morning, I realised this trip could either mend everything or sever the last ties. There was no in-between. With my heart pounding, I prepared to face whatever awaited me at that party. Hey, everyone. So, I want to share a story with you, something deeply personal that happened recently. Picture this: I'm standing in front of my mirror, fixing my hair and practicing a smile that feels right. "Happy birthday, Mum," I whisper to my reflection, hoping she'll be happy to see me. The venue, a gorgeous boathouse overlooking a sparkling lake, with natural wood beams and huge windows letting in all that glorious April sunshine. It screams elegance without trying too hard, exactly my mum's vibe. As I pull into the parking lot, I spot all the familiar cars: Uncle Leo's classic red Corvette, Aunt Sarah's trusty Subaru, and even my cousin Jake's flashy motorcycle. All these vehicles, they're like pieces of my childhood. Clutching my gift, I head towards the entrance. And who do I see? My dad's old college buddy, Tim, puffing away on his cigarette. "Wow, is that you?" "Alex?" he exclaims, eyebrows shooting up in surprise. "It's been ages." "Hey, Mr. Anders," I reply, slipping back into that polite childhood mode. It's nice to see a familiar face, even if it's been years. He gives me an awkward side hug and says something that sticks with me. "You look just like your mother did at your age. She's going to be thrilled you're here. She was just saying she wished all her kids could be here today." That comment hits me weirdly. Why would Mum say that if she knew I was coming? But before I can ask more, my cousin Lily bursts out from the building. "Alex!" she cries, genuinely surprised as she hugs me. "I had no idea you were coming. Sam said you couldn't make it because of work." I assure her I rearranged my schedule. It's Mum's 60th, after all. There's no way I'd miss it. Lily's expression changes a bit. "Right. Well, everyone's inside. Your mum looks stunning." I follow her in. And there's Dad, greeting everyone. His hair's freshly cut, the military posture still there after all these years. But when he sees me, his face doesn't soften. Instead, it hardens, the way it used to when I was in trouble as a kid. "Alex," he says, flatly. "What are you doing here?" I'm caught off guard. I'm here for Mum's birthday, I say, trying to keep it light. Is that so strange? He looks at his clipboard, scanning what seems to be a guest list. You're not on the list. Those words hang in the air like a bad dream. I feel everyone's eyes on us, judging, questioning. There must be a mistake, I whisper, trying to keep calm. I talked to Mum last week. She wanted me here. Dad's expression doesn't change. There's no mistake. This party is for people who are actually involved in your mother's life. The sting of his words is sharp, deliberate. I feel exposed, almost like I'm being put on trial right there in front of everyone. Dad, I plead quietly, please don't do this. I came all this way just to wish Mom a happy birthday. You should have called first, he says. This is a private event for those who prioritise family. Before I can argue, my sister Sam appears with her boyfriend, Mark, in tow. She's dressed in a pink dress, her hair styled like Mom's. The message is clear. She's the favoured daughter, the one who stayed close. Is there a problem? She asks sweetly, eyes gleaming with satisfaction. Alex isn't on the guest list, Dad repeats. Oh, Sam says, feigning surprise. I thought we talked about this. Alex, after Thanksgiving, we didn't talk about anything, I insist, holding on to my composure. I spoke with Mom. Mom probably felt awkward. Sam shrugs. You know she avoids confrontation. I scan the room, desperate to see Mom. Where is she? I'd like to speak to her. What, she's busy with her guests, Dad says. I'm not going to let you upset her today. Mark looks uncomfortable, shuffling his feet. I notice his expensive suit, slightly too big, and those glasses that make him look both intelligent and caught in the wrong place. I've never met him before, just seen him in photos. He seems out of place, unsure, unlike the others who are relishing this moment. As I stand there, gift in hand, I overhear whispers. Is that Alex? I thought they weren't talking anymore. Another voice, maybe Lily's mum, speculates. Sam said Alex called Patricia an unsupportive mother at Thanksgiving. Can you believe it? And then Sam. Words loud enough to be sure I hear. Did she really think she was welcome after that? In that moment, it all becomes clear. This was a setup, a punishment, not just exclusion. I steady myself, refusing to give them the satisfaction of a breakdown. I understand, I say, my voice surprisingly steady. Please give this to Mom. It's her birthday gift. I hand the beautifully wrapped package to Dad, making sure to meet his eyes. Tell her I love her and hope she has a wonderful birthday. Without waiting for a response, I turn away, walking back to my car, my pace steady, refusing to rush. Behind me, I hear Sam's laugh and Dad's murmured words I can't make out. I make it to my car, but once inside, my hands start trembling so much I can't even get the key in the ignition. Mascara threatens to streak my cheeks, but I grip the steering wheel, focus on breathing. In. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. I refuse to break down here. I'll drive back to my hotel, pack, and change my flight. This chapter is over. No more attempts at reconciliation. No more pretending we're a family. Just as I'm about to start the car, a tap on the window nearly makes me jump. It's Mark, Sam's boyfriend, looking apologetic. For a moment, I consider driving off, but curiosity wins. I roll down the window, just a crack, Alex, he starts, then corrects himself. Ms. Taylor, I mean, Alex is fine, I reply automatically, frowning. Wait, how do you know me as Ms. Taylor? I work at TechWave in Boston, he explains. I'm in the software department, 3rd floor. My mind races. I don't remember seeing him around. He offers, Mark Lawson. I transferred from Chicago about 8 months ago to be closer to Sam. The universe has a twisted sense of humour. Out of all the tech companies, Sam's boyfriend works at mine. I'd been so busy, I hadn't even noticed. Does Sam know you work for me? I ask. Not exactly, he admits, looking uneasy. She knows I work at TechWave, but I never mentioned you were, well, essentially my boss. May I sit? He asks, gesturing to the passenger seat. I feel like I owe you an explanation. Against my better judgment, I unlock the door. Mark slides in, making the car feel even smaller with his tall frame. I should have said something back there, he begins. That wasn't right. Why didn't you? I ask, my voice sharper than intended. Complicated family dynamics. He sighs. I've only been with Sam for a year, still figuring out how everything fits. Well, you've seen us at our best, I say bitterly. That's why I followed you. He explains, facing me. What happened wasn't spontaneous. They talked about it last night at the rehearsal dinner. Your dad said he'd handle it if you showed. The revelation hits hard. Does my mum even know I tried to come? She asked about you, Mark says, hesitating. Wondered if you'd surprise her. Sam told her you'd sent regrets. That's a lie, I whisper, feeling betrayed. I know. Mark nods. Sam talks about you a lot. There's jealousy there, though she'd never admit it. Jealous of what? I ask. Incredulous. She's the favoured one. But you're the one who left, Mark says simply. You built your own life. And at work, you're respected. People admire your leadership. I sit in silence, processing his words. While I've felt like a failure to my family, apparently, I've become a role model professionally. Sam's been twisting things, Mark continues, reframing your absence as rejection, exaggerating arguments. When your mum missed you, Sam reminded her of some slight, and my mother believed her. I say, the pain evident. Your mum's health isn't great, he explains gently. Nothing major, but enough to make her vulnerable. Sam's been helping her. The implications hit hard. While I've been building my career, Sam's been crafting a narrative where I'm the villain. Why tell me this? You're dating my sister. Because it was wrong, he says, glancing down. And because at TechWave, I've seen how you treat people, with respect. The stories don't match. Despite everything, I laugh a little. I can imagine it's awkward when your girlfriend's family drama involves your boss. So, what are you going to do? He asks. I gaze at the lake, its surface shimmering in the sun. The easy choice is to leave, go back to Boston, and forget all this. But another part of me, the part that remembers Mom making paper hats for my birthday, knows I can't leave it like this. I think it's time everyone hears the truth, I say slowly, including my mother. Mark nods, looking relieved yet terrified. I'll support whatever you decide. Just remember, I have to see them at holidays. Don't worry, I assure him, a plan forming in my mind. Hey everyone, Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm diving deep into a story that's been brewing for years, a story of family, misunderstandings, and, ultimately, a search for truth and connection. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let me take you on this emotional journey. As I reached for the door handle, a wave of determination washed over me. I've handled my fair share of challenging personalities in the corporate world, yet nothing quite prepared me for what was about to unfold. Walking back toward the venue, I felt an unexpected calm. This confrontation wasn't on my agenda for the day, but maybe it was the moment of reckoning that had been long overdue. Entering that building was a monumental task. It demanded more courage than any of my previous professional challenges, more than my first board meeting presentation, more than letting go of a team member I personally recruited. This was about facing people who'd known me since my awkward teenage years, those who still felt they had a say in who I should become. My friend Jessie and I slipped in through a side door, deliberately avoiding my father's vigilant eyes at the main entrance. The celebration inside was in full swing. Around 60 people mingled around tables, a nostalgic slideshow of family photos playing on a large screen. My absence from those memories was stark, a silent reminder of my distance. My mother sat at a central table, radiant in a lavender dress that highlighted her silver hair. She laughed at something Uncle Tim said, blissfully unaware of the drama that had played out moments ago. It was Anna, my cousin, who noticed us first. Her eyes widened in surprise, and flickering between Jessie and me as realization dawned. She moved towards us, intent on intercepting, but Jessie was already stepping forward. His voice cut through the hum of conversations as people paused to listen. "Everyone, I'd like to introduce Riley Carter, Evelyn's daughter," he announced, his timing impeccable. "And my boss at Tech Innovations." The room fell silent. My mother's head snapped up, her eyes locking onto mine, a mix of confusion and what seemed like genuine happiness. "Riley, you're here," she exclaimed, standing abruptly, her napkin fluttering to the floor. Before I could answer, Anna arrived, her face flushed with anger. "Jessie, what are you doing?" she whispered furiously. "The right thing," Jessie replied simply. My father appeared next, his face stormy. "I thought I made myself clear at the door." "You did," I replied evenly. "But there seems to be some misunderstanding about my place in this family that needs addressing." Mom approached, her concern evident as she looked between us. "What's going on? Tim, why do you look so angry? Riley, sweetheart? I'm thrilled you're here." Her sincere joy was a relief, confirming what Jessie had suggested. She was unaware of the rejection I faced at the door. "Mum," I said softly, taking her hands. "I need to ask you something important. Did you believe I didn't want to come today?" She blinked, puzzled. "Anna said you were too busy with work. That big project you mentioned." "I never said that," I corrected firmly. "In fact, I made it clear I'd be here. I took time off. Flew in yesterday." "But then why?" Her gaze shifted between Anna and my father. "I was just at the door," I continued, aware of our audience. "Dad said I wasn't on the guest list, that this was for those who prioritise family." Mum's expression shifted from confusion to shock. "Tim, is this true?" My father's face reddened. "Evelyn, we discussed this after what she said at Thanksgiving." "We discussed no such thing," Mum interrupted, her tone uncharacteristically firm. Riley is my daughter. Of course. She's welcome at my birthday. The room was so silent, you could hear the clinking of ice in glasses. This wasn't how I imagined confronting my family, but perhaps this public accountability was necessary. There's been a pattern. I addressed my mother, but included everyone. For years. Things I've said have been twisted, my work commitments depicted as neglect, my life choices as family rejections. Anna stepped forward, her smile tight. This isn't the time or place. Riley. You always make things about yourself, even on Mum's birthday. That's exactly my point, I replied, gesturing towards her. This portrayal of me as selfish isn't true. I faced the room. Many of you have known me since I was a kid. I've never been perfect, but my love for this family has never wavered. My career took me to New York, not the moon. Communication and visits are a two-way street. I noticed my cousin Mike nodding slightly, and Aunt Linda whispering to Uncle Tim. Anna, I continued, using the same professional tone I used during tough negotiations. You've been undermining my relationship with our parents, exaggerating conflicts. That's absurd, Anna scoffed, though her eyes flickered nervously. Is it? I turned to Jessie. What did Anna say about me before you met me today? Caught off guard. Jessie hesitated, but then spoke honestly. She said you were cold, obsessed with work, that you'd called your mother unsupportive and said the family was holding you back. I never said those things, I stated firmly. It was implied, Anna insisted. No, it wasn't. I countered. At Thanksgiving, when you accused me of thinking I was superior, I defended myself. I said I built my career myself. That's not an attack on the family. It's a fact. Mum looked devastated. Anna, have you been turning us against Riley? Anna's facade finally cracked. You don't understand. She left. She became this big executive while I stayed, taking care of everything. And yet, you light up more when she calls than when I'm right here. The raw hurt in her voice silenced the room. Despite everything, a pang of empathy hit me for my sister. We'd both been trapped in roles defined since childhood, her the achiever who stayed, me the rebel who left. Anna, Mum said gently, I've never compared you two. I love you both for who you are. Then why do you keep her science fair certificate? Anna challenged, tears threatening. 3rd place. It was 15 years ago, and you still have it. I was taken aback. That certificate had become a symbol for Anna of favouritism I never felt. Dad, unusually quiet, finally spoke. We should discuss this privately. No, Mum said firmly. I'm done with secrets and misunderstandings. She addressed our guests. I apologise for the drama. Please, enjoy the food and music. We need a moment. She led us to a small side room. As the door closed, I caught glimpses of wide eyes and hushed conversations trailing behind us, inside. Mum took charge in a way I hadn't seen in years. Sit down. All of you. We complied, feeling like kids again. Tim, she addressed my father first. Did you turn Riley away at the door? Dad shifted uncomfortably. I was protecting you after what she supposedly said. What exactly did she say? Mum pressed. My father hesitated, that we were holding her back, that she had to build her life because we never supported her. That's not what I said, I interjected. I said I built my career, which is true. It wasn't an attack. It was a statement of fact after Anna said my life was empty. Mum turned to Anna. Have you been keeping your sister and me apart? Anna's defiance crumbled. I was just tired of being taken for granted. Riley swoops in for holidays. Everyone makes a fuss. Then she's gone again while I'm here every day. Doctor's appointments? I interrupted, looking at my mother. What appointments? Mum sighed. I've been dealing with mild depression and memory issues. It's challenging, but Anna has been very helpful. You didn't tell me, I said, hurt evident. Anna thought it might stress you with your job. Mum admitted, frowning. But I see now that wasn't her decision to make. The pieces clicked into place. Mum's distance, her confusion during calls, Anna's role as gatekeeper. I'm sorry, Jessie spoke up unexpectedly. I should have said something sooner. I've heard these conversations where things Riley supposedly said were exaggerated. Anna turned to him, feeling betrayed. You're taking her side. It's not about sides, Jessie said softly. It's about the truth. Truth, a word that hung heavily between us, something our family had avoided for years. I want to try again, I said into the silence, all of us. But we need honesty. No more triangulation, no more gatekeeper games. Mum took my hand. I want that too. I've missed you. Riley. Dad cleared his throat. I may have misjudged things if what you're saying is accurate. Not quite an apology. But from him, it was significant. Anna remained silent, tears streaming down her face. Her carefully crafted image was crumbling. I couldn't tell if she mourned its loss or felt relief to finally set down the burden. This won't be fixed in one conversation, I acknowledged, but it's a start. As we prepared to rejoin the party, Mum stopped me. Your gift, she said softly. The emerald brooch. How did you know? You showed me Grandma's jewellery box when I was 10, I replied. You pointed to a similar one that was lost. You said it was your favourite. Her eyes filled with tears. You remembered. I remember everything important. Mum, I said, squeezing her hand. Just because I'm not here doesn't mean I'm not present. We returned to the celebration, the tension still there, but somehow lighter. The truth, even if painful, was less burdensome than lies. Family members approached me, seeking real connections rather than small talk. Even my father awkwardly asked about my work with genuine interest for the first time. Anna remained distant, processing her new reality. The confrontation had exposed her actions and insecurities. Healing our relationship would take time, if it was possible at all. But as Mom cut her birthday cake with Anna and me by her side, both of us reflected in her smile. I felt something I hadn't expected. Hope. The Monday after Mum's birthday, I returned to my office in New York, emotionally drained, yet oddly light. The confrontation had been necessary, but exhausting. I'd extended my stay through Sunday to spend time with Mom, engage in stilted yet civil conversations with Dad, and give Anna the space she needed. My assistant, Lisa, looked up from her desk as I walked in, coffee in hand. So, how was the family reunion? Eventful, I replied, managing a small smile. Very eventful. And did they appreciate the amazing, successful woman you've become? She asked, half joking. Actually, I said, the realization surprising me. I think they're starting to... Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to share a deeply personal story that I hope resonates with some of you. It's about navigating the tricky waters of family and work, and how sometimes those worlds collide in unexpected ways. So, picture this. My sister's boyfriend, let's call him Alex, was making a big career move. He'd been working under me in software engineering, but decided to shift over to the product development team. It was a lateral move to keep things professionally clean, and personally, well, a bit tangled. I remember calling Alex that afternoon. "You didn't have to switch teams," I said when he picked up. "It felt like the right move," he replied, sounding firm yet thoughtful. Better boundaries, considering everything that's going on. "And how's Lily handling all this?" I asked, a question I'd been hesitant to voice. There was a pause, and then Alex sighed. "She's having a tough time. Our confrontation really shook up her world. She gave me an ultimatum." My heart sank. "You or me?" I guessed. "Pretty much," he confirmed. "She said if I truly respected her, I'd leave the company." I couldn't help but let out a small laugh, recognizing the familiar manipulation. "What did you tell her?" I said I respect myself too much to let anyone dictate my career path. He answered simply, "We're taking a break while she sorts things out." Guilt washed over me. "I never wanted to come between you two." "You didn't," Alex assured me. "This was inevitable. The confrontation just sped things up." After we hung up, I found myself staring out at the Boston skyline from my office window. The line between my personal and professional life had blurred in a way that no business school case study could have prepared me for. I decided to talk to our chief ethics officer that afternoon, trying to explain everything in the most clinical terms possible. "I need to make sure there's no appearance of impropriety in how I handle this," I concluded. Diane, our ethics officer, gave me a thoughtful look. "Document everything," she advised. "Recuse yourself from any decisions involving Alex, and maybe bring in an executive coach to help with these personal professional boundaries." Following her advice, I set up protocols to protect both Alex's career and my own integrity. It was surreal, applying corporate governance to what felt like a family drama. But maybe that's exactly what was needed. Meanwhile, I was dealing with my own emotional aftermath from that weekend's revelations. I booked an emergency session with Dr. Evans, my therapist. "You stood up for yourself, Doctor," Evans noted after I recounted the confrontation. "How did that feel?" "Terrifying," I admitted, "but also liberating." She nodded. "The family dynamics you described are classic. There's the golden child who stays and the scapegoat who leaves. Your sister's identity is tied to being the good daughter who sacrificed, while you pursued your own path. How do we fix it?" I asked, feeling the weight of those roles. "Doctor." Evans smiled gently. "That's the million-dollar question. It starts with honesty and adjusting expectations. Your family might not change overnight, if at all." 2 weeks after the birthday party, I got a call from my mum that made my heart sink. Her doctor had confirmed she was in the early stages of cognitive decline. It wasn't Alzheimer's, but there were noticeable memory problems that would likely progress. "I should have told you sooner," she said softly. "Lily thought—" "Mom," I interrupted, gently but firmly. "Promise me you'll tell me these things directly from now on, not through Lily or Dad. We need to rebuild our relationship without any go-betweens." "I promise," she said, and I heard a new resolve in her voice. "In fact, I've been thinking, would it be possible for me to visit you in Boston? See your life there?" Her question caught me off guard. In 15 years, Neither of my parents had come to see my adopted city. I'd love that. Mum, when were you thinking? Next month. Your father has a fishing trip planned, she replied, and I felt a warmth spread through me at the thought of her coming alone, free from the usual family dynamics. I'll send you flight options tonight, I promised. At work, I threw myself into the Singapore expansion with renewed vigour. The personal clarity seemed to translate into professional sharpness. I found myself making bolder, strategic decisions, standing firm against bad ideas, and advocating fiercely for my team. Something's different about you, my boss, Ethan, commented after I'd successfully negotiated a tricky vendor contract. You seem more centred. I'm learning to bring my whole self to work, I replied, surprising both of us with the personal nature of the disclosure. The situation with Alex remained delicate. At the office, we kept things strictly professional, but occasionally we met for coffee on weekends to process the ongoing family drama. His relationship with Lily was still on hold, though they kept in touch sporadically. She's seeing a therapist, he told me during one such coffee. Your mum insisted. That news gave me more hope than anything else. Lily, voluntarily seeking help, suggested she might be ready to examine her own role in our family's dysfunction. 3 months after the birthday confrontation, I received an email that changed everything. The CEO wanted to meet to discuss a new VP position overseeing global operations. It was a promotion that meant more responsibility, more travel, and significantly more visibility within the company. During the interview, CEO Stephanie Johnson asked me something unexpected. The role requires difficult conversations and standing firm under pressure. Tell me about a time you've demonstrated those qualities outside of work. I took a deep breath and shared a carefully edited version of the birthday confrontation, focusing on the principles of truth-telling and boundary setting rather than the messy family details. When I finished, Stephanie nodded thoughtfully. That's exactly why we're considering you for this role. Taylor, your technical skills are excellent, but it's your integrity and courage that set you apart. A week later, I accepted the VP position. The first person I called was my mother. I'm so proud of you, she said, her voice clearer and more present than it had been in years. I always knew you were destined for important things. Even when I was getting 3rd place in science fairs, I teased gently. Especially then, she replied, because you did it your way, not anyone else's. As I hung up, I realised something profound had shifted. For the first time in my adult life, I felt both professionally successful and personally authentic with my family. The walls that had separated those worlds were finally beginning to crumble. 3 months after the birthday confrontation, my mother stepped off the plane at Logan Airport for her first visit to my Boston life. I waited nervously at the gate, feeling like I was greeting someone I'd been waiting to meet for a long time. Taylor, she called, waving enthusiastically when she spotted me. She looked smaller, more fragile than I remembered, but her eyes were bright and clear. Welcome to Boston, Mom, I said, embracing her. I can't believe you're finally here. The week that followed was transformative. I took a few days off work, something I'd never done before, much to the surprise of my colleague Rachel, who joked about checking my temperature. I showed Mom every part of my life here, my apartment with its view of the Charles River, my favourite coffee shop where the baristas knew my order by heart, the hidden garden in the public library where I went to read during lunch breaks. It's beautiful, she said as we walked along the waterfront. Your life here. I can see why you love it. On her third day, I brought her to my office at Vertex, watching my mother interact with my colleagues, seeing her pride as they spoke highly of my work, healed something deep within me. This wasn't the strange family narrative of Taylor, the absent daughter, but rather Taylor, the respected leader. Alex greeted us professionally, maintaining the boundaries we'd established. But I noticed the warm way he spoke to my mother, the genuine respect in his interaction. Whatever happened with him and Lily, he had become an unexpected ally in my family's healing process. When Mum returned to Chicago, something fundamental had changed. Our weekly calls resumed, but with new depth and honesty. She began sending me small packages, a book she thought I'd enjoy, a scarf that matched my eyes, tokens that said, I see you, more clearly than words ever could. Even my father made efforts in his own awkward way, emailing articles about the tech industry with comments like, thought you might find this relevant. Small steps, but meaningful ones. The situation with Lily remained complex. For 2 months after the confrontation, we didn't speak directly. Then, unexpectedly, she called one evening as I was prepping for a presentation. I've been doing a lot of thinking, she said abruptly, and a lot of therapy. That's good, I replied cautiously. I'm not ready to talk about everything, she continued, but I wanted to say I understand now that I was wrong about some things. The way I portrayed you to Mum and Dad wasn't fair. It wasn't quite an apology, but from Lily, it was significant. Thank you for telling me that, I said. Alex says you've been very professional about everything, she added. He respects you a lot. He's a good person, I offered. Whatever happens between you two, I think he cares about you. We're working through things, she said vaguely. Anyway, I should go. But I wanted you to know I'm trying. My promotion to VP brought new challenges and opportunities. The role required more travel, including regular trips to Singapore for our expansion there. Ironically, this increased my visits to Chicago, as O'Hare became my frequent layover between international flights. During these layovers, I began scheduling brief visits with my parents, sometimes just dinner at the airport with Mum, sometimes an overnight stay that included Dad. Gradually, these short, frequent connections built something more authentic than our previous pattern of tense holiday gatherings. My mother's health stabilized with proper treatment for her depression and cognitive issues. The doctors said reducing stress has helped enormously, she told me during one visit. All that family tension was literally making me sick. 6 months after the birthday confrontation, I hosted Thanksgiving in my Boston apartment, a deliberate reclaiming of the holiday that had been the breaking point the previous year. Mom and Dad accepted the invitation immediately. My brother, Ryan, came with his new girlfriend. Lily declined, but sent a surprisingly thoughtful gift basket. As we gathered around my dining table, expanded with a rented table to accommodate everyone, I realised this was the first family gathering that felt genuine rather than performative. We weren't playing roles assigned in childhood. We were adults choosing to connect. Before we eat, Mum said, raising her glass, I want to thank Taylor for bringing us together, not just physically in this beautiful home, but emotionally. Your courage to speak truth has changed our family. Dad nodded, unusually emotional. I've been doing a lot of thinking about the kind of father I've been, the kind I want to be going forward. I'm proud of you, Taylor. Your success, yes, but more importantly, your integrity. That acknowledgement, so long desired and never expected, brought tears to my eyes. Later that evening, as everyone helped clean up, another first in family history, I received a text from Lily. Hope dinner went well, maybe next year. Those 4 words contained more hope than 1,000 forced family photographs. The professional lessons from this personal journey were profound. My leadership style evolved, becoming more authentic and compassionate. I found myself mentoring younger women at work who struggled with work-life boundaries, sharing edited versions of my own journey. Your worth isn't determined by your family's approval or your professional achievements, I told one particularly promising young colleague, and with that, I learned that sometimes the hardest paths lead to the most rewarding destinations. Thanks for listening, everyone. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications if you want more stories like this one. Until next time. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to share with you a deeply personal story about navigating family expectations and finding my own voice. It's a journey that many of you might relate to, especially if you've ever felt the pressure to meet someone else's standards rather than your own. For a long time, I was an aspiring analyst, caught between my career ambitions and the expectations my family had for me. My parents always envisioned a specific path for me, and I worked hard to fulfill those expectations. But deep down, I felt this growing conflict between living authentically and trying to fit into a mold that wasn't truly mine. A turning point in my journey came during a performance review with our CEO, Michelle. She looked at me thoughtfully and said something that resonated deeply. You've always excelled at the technical aspects of leadership, but now you're bringing heart into it too. That combination is rare and incredibly valuable. Her words hit me hard because they acknowledged something I had been striving for, merging my skills with genuine empathy and authenticity. Now, let me take you back to a moment I had dreaded for a long time, my mom's birthday. I feared that confronting her would unravel our family ties, but what happened was quite the opposite. Our family didn't suddenly become a perfect, harmonious picture. We were still navigating our messiness, stumbling and occasionally reverting to old habits. But now, we were doing it with awareness, willing to address unhealthy dynamics and ready to forgive each other. My mum's visit to Boston left a lasting impression on me. She once told me, "Sometimes being excluded from where you don't truly belong leads you to find where you do." Although she was referring to my career, those words applied just as much to our family relationships. The pain of feeling left out at her birthday had, paradoxically, opened the door to more genuine connections with my family. There was also this emerald brooch I had given my mom. It became her favourite piece of jewellery, something she wore to every significant family event. To me, it was a small but powerful symbol of being acknowledged and valued, despite the distance that sometimes stretched between us. This spring, we're taking another step forward. Our family, my mum, dad, my siblings Brooke and Alex and I, have decided to embark on family therapy, not because we're in crisis, but because we want to continue healing and growing together. Our first session is set for next month in Chicago, and I've already booked my flight. It's a reminder that family relationships aren't static, they are ongoing journeys. Maintaining them is an active, continuous effort. Throughout this journey, I've learned something crucial. Healthy boundaries are not walls that keep us apart from our loved ones. Instead, they are clear markers that help us connect safely and honestly as our true selves. Have any of you ever needed to stand up to family members who misunderstood or misrepresented you? How did you handle it? I'd love to hear your stories in the comments below. If this story touched you, or if you find these discussions about complex relationships meaningful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more content on embracing your authentic self. Thank you for being here and listening to my story. Remember, the path to healing and authenticity often begins with the courage to speak your truth, even when your voice shakes. Until next time, take care.